Okay, so today we're going to talk about the companion tool for David Amerland's excellent SEO Help book. The companion tool was put together by myself and David in Google Forms. It's pretty easy to use, pretty easy to set up, and I think it would be an excellent tool for anybody who is reading David's SEO Help book to really have a centralized place where all of the action step items are entered, kept track of, maintained. Basically, it's just one place you go where you're able to strategize and put everything, all of your thoughts and all of your action items in one place and be able to review it, be able to access it from anywhere you would like. You can use any device. You can use tablets, computers, phones, Macs, PCs, whatever you have. And from anywhere in the world, basically, you can access this information. You can change it anytime. And so it's a very convenient way to take care of the 200 action items that David has in his book, because you can imagine taking care of them otherwise would be a little difficult and overwhelming. So this allows you to record everything and take your time, do it at your own pace, and come up with a really, really good blueprint in terms of doing SEO for your business. So the first thing, obviously, is you need to have the book. So you can get the book at Amazon.com and any other book retailers. And once you get the book, I would recommend you read the book from beginning to end, skipping every single action item. Just concentrate on the book itself. It's about a little less than 200 pages, a few days, easy read. You will not be able to remember everything because it's a ton of information, but you'll get basic idea. And then once you get this basic idea about all the different steps and everything else, then start reading the book again, one step at a time, kind of like one chapter at a time. And then, of course, use this tool to then take care of the 10 action items at the end of every single step. And you record your progress and your thoughts and all the information relevant to that particular action item in this tool. And that's where it's going to be stored for you until the next time you access it and maintain it and change it. And then, of course, you adapt. Once you get the blueprint in place, then you can easily adapt it to, well, relatively easily, adapt it to your business and use it for that. And of course, at any point in time, if you decide to make any changes, you're able to get back in and change anything you wish. Business evolves, SEO evolves. So it's kind of a living and breathing thing. So to use the tool, the first thing you should do is go to Google Templates. Let me just quickly pull up the screen share here so I can show you what to do instead of just talking about it. Make it easier. So go to your Google Drive. That's step one. And then when you get to your Google Drive, then you can just, where it says drive.google.com, right after the first slash, just put in the word templates, plural, and then hit enter. Once you do that, it'll pull up the template directory that Google has sitting at that public templates tab there, as you can see on the screen. And here you simply go to the search and type in search box SEO Help book. That's the easiest way to get to it. Once you get to that, you can see there's two different templates. And the reason we have two different templates is because you may store information for one company, or you might want to store information for multiple companies. Like in my case, I got a couple of companies. Also, you might potentially be like myself, who is helping other companies to build it, so you are able to then have multiple entries done in a single place. You could use the single template multiple times, which means the information will be stored in multiple places. But if you're only dealing with several of your own companies, there's no reason to spread the information. You can have it all in one place, but still segregate it so each company has its own information. So but for most people who have just one company, want to keep track of one company, you would use the what I call the single template, which is the second one here, where it says blueprint template single. So you would want to do that. So to actually get the tool itself, you would click on this use template button for the single version, the second one here, and you just simply click on use template and wait for it to get it for you. In a few seconds, you'll have it come up as a Google form which is exactly what it should do. And at this point, you can go in and make some changes. And I would recommend you then rename it, because as you can see by default, it comes up with the document named, copy of SEO Help and so on. You want to change it to be your company name. So in my case, I'm going to put in, SEO for PCS, which is my company name, PCS. So I'll change that. And also this top heading here, I'm going to also make it a little bit easier. So just maybe something like SEO blueprint for PCS. Okay. So that's what it's going to say at the top. You don't really need to make any other changes. Just so this way it's going to be nice and personalized for your business. Once you do that, then at that point you can just click on View Live Form by clicking on the button at the top of the screen here, and you're able to immediately start using the tool. So the very first page, as you can see, has a little bit of description there, and then after that it goes and into a little video introduction from David. If you want to go to his website, you can do that by clicking on this link here. And once you get done, at the bottom you see the progress bar, and you can click on the continue to proceed forward. And then when you start actually filling out information right here, you just simply click on appropriate responses as you read each step and each action item, and you take appropriate action, whatever it needs to be. In some cases it's a question. In other cases it's going to be like on the third page, it's going to have the like free-form text areas where you can just put in your thoughts and everything you need to enter. So you essentially follow each one of these is an action step from the book. So this is step 1, create a Google account, which is exactly what you will see in the book. And then down below, it's got the action step 1 for step 1, or action item as I call it 1. It actually tells you what it is, just like the book does, and asks you a question or tells you what to do. So create a Google account, go here, do you have it set up? Yes, I do. So I just simply answer yes, and I'm done with that particular action item. Then I move on to the next one. And so it's meant to be for people who are starting from scratch, from nothing. They can use this book, and also for people, of course, who are already have accounts and are already doing it. So depending where you're at, some of these questions would be really quick to go through because you already did this. Create a recognizable Gmail account. Well, we already have that done, so you click on yes, I have it. That's user-friendly and so on. And then it says join Google+. Have you joined it? So since you joined it, you click on yes. And so in other words, you just fill out these things as you go on. When you get to the bottom, you will have the continue button to go to the next page. You have the back button to go to the prior page. Feel free to go back and forth, change things as you see fit. You'll also have this exit button that allows you to jump directly to the end towards has the submit button, and that's what you need to press to make sure all your changes get recorded. So in my case, I'm going to go to the next page just for the to show you something. Notice I didn't fill all the stuff. I just put in a couple of things. And here I'm just going to put in the words PCS just to show you some. Later on, it's how information gets stored so you can see it. But you can see it's like a little text, free-form text field. And so it just goes through one by one. You read one chapter or one step, and then you go through every single one of the 10 action items for that particular step. And don't simply click on yes or no, but actually obviously participate exactly following what it tells you. So like for example here, it says design your website to help your audience, not yourself. Your online success really depends on how good you are at being helpful to those who find you. Solve that in terms of look and feel in your website design and navigation, and you have a quick marketing win in your hands. Is your website designed for your audience? So at that point, the idea is for you to reflect, get a little philosophical here, and determine, is your website really designed for the people that you're trying to present it to, as opposed to for yourself, because you want to do something a little bit more red, or you want to move a logo a little bit to the left, which you'll be surprised how many people actually want to do that. So the idea is David is basically guiding you through every one of these action items, telling you what he recommends you should be thinking about and doing, and then you have to respond. In this case, once you've decided that, yeah, the website is designed and is set up to be helpful to people I'm trying to, it was the audience for the website you're trying to present it to, so then you just answer yes. And then the next question is, it says think before you write anything. work out who your audience is. So you start doing some reflecting about who your audience is, and start filling out this particular field. And you just go through the motions like that, one thing at a time. And you can quit at any point in time by just, let's say that's all I want to put in, and click on exit, and then it'll have a little it's a little link. When you click on it, you can see it, and you click on continue, and notice right now it doesn't go to the next page. It jumps you right to the end. It says click submit to finish. So I want to finish. I click submit, and I'm done with that particular part. Okay. Now, if I go back and click on edit my response, it's going to get me right back to this point here. And I'm going back, and as you can see here, I have my answers checked. And you can see if I go to the next page, you can see that I've got the word PCS here. So you can see it's basically information I already stored, and it just jumps right back, so I can edit it more and more and more and more. And that's what I was talking about, being able to go back and forth as many times or as few times as you need. And so the important thing here is just to bookmark this particular form at this point, just so you can easily get back to it without having to remember this long, horrible looking URL here. So you click on the little star here at the right side of the omnibar to create a bookmark, and it says it's been bookmarked. It says SEO Blueprint for PCS, which is fine. You can change this if you want. And in terms of where to store it, in my case, I have a bunch of folders. So I'm going to basically say I'm going to store it in something called SEO Help. So I can have multiple things in there. I set up a separate folder in bookmarks, and I'm done. And that's, you just click out, that's it. So now I can actually close the form and close this form, close everything on this particular form. And if I go up to my bookmarks right here by clicking on bookmarks, and you have the same thing yourself, you're using Chrome. If you're using another browser, if you're using Firefox or IE or any other browser, you're welcome to use its own bookmarking capability. Just use their keystroke, usually it's Control-D, to record that particular bookmark, and then you can get back to it using their approach. So it doesn't matter what browser you're using, what platform you're using. The idea is just to have the bookmark in place, so you have an easy way to get to it. Chrome has an excellent way using this bookmarks approach to segregate your information into folders. It makes it very easy to find. You can search for it. But in my case, you can see I have a thing called SEO Help, and there's my blueprint for PCS. And so at any point in time, if I simply click on it, then it's going to bring back the form. And then if I just go through it, then as you can see, some of my answers are the answers, and I can now answer, I've done this, and I've done this. So basically, I'm just going to click yes on all of these because I've done all of these already. And so my first page is completely done. And then at that point, I'll just leave it as this, and I'm just going to exit out. So I'm going to click on exit, click on continue, and then at this point, I'll click on submit. So all the changes are saved. And that's pretty much the process of working on this thing. And you can do this anytime, like I said, from anywhere. So that's everything you need to know about using the companion tool for David's book for a single company. Now I'm going to quickly jump through the steps and show you how you can do this for multiple companies. So if you are only going to use it for a single company, you're done. You can stop the video right now and go ahead to the templates, download it, install it, make these few changes I pointed out about, and just start going through the motions, basically, using the tool. That's all you need to know. You don't need anything else. But for those of you who want to use it for multiple companies, or potentially maybe you're like myself who has multiple clients and you want to be able to store all the information for various companies in a single tool, there's a way to do that, and that's the multi-version of this template. Also, I was going to say that you can also use the single version of the template and just come up with multiple incarnations that way as well. It's just a question of where everything is stored. If you want multiple companies to be stored in a single storage place, then you would use the multi-tool, and that's going to go into a single place. If you want each company to be in its own separate storage place, then you would just use the singles. You just download the templates multiple times, rename them accordingly for whatever company, and you can use it that way. So either way It just depends on what your preferences are and how you want to utilize it. Now, one of the considerations you should have is if you're doing it for multiple companies and they're not yours necessarily, then I would recommend going with a single template multiple times, because what you would most likely would like to do is share the tool with your client if you happen to be a consultant. So, for example, if I'm doing this for a company that's not my own company and I'm just consulting for somebody, I would most definitely want to have the owners or the principals of the company be involved. And for that to be the case, I would simply share this particular form, because it's just a Google form, okay? And you can share it just like any other Google document. I would share it with whatever people I want to share it with, so they can also participate in being able to enter information and maintain it and change things and so on and so forth, because a lot of stuff that's in this particular tool, a lot of questions that these action items contain are very specific to a particular business, which is something that consultants typically wouldn't know. That's why you need to have the actual people in the company be in the loop, so to speak, to do this. You might be doing it for them, but they need to be in the loop, so you can easily at least give them the view privileges so they can go in and at least look at the stuff. And if that's the case, obviously you wouldn't want to have a single spreadsheet that has all this information from multiple companies being visible to anybody. So that's where you would use the individual versions for each company, and that way you can share it with appropriate people, and everything works really good. So with that being the case, if you have any questions about any of this, by all means contact me in terms of sharing and things like that. I'll be happy to help you. Well, let's get back to the templates again. And so if we go here to the templates, I'm going to go ahead and close this one, so I don't have anything. And so over here, when we go back to templates, the multi version is the first one here, and we can use that to put in multiple entries for multiple companies, or for even, it doesn't necessarily have to be multiple companies. You might have a single company, but you want to have two different SEO strategies because you're trying to do some sort of maybe A/B testing where you have two different websites, both for your company, and you're trying to have fairly different strategies for each one in terms of when it comes to both the website look and feel, functionality, and SEO for that particular site. And that way you can certainly use this approach with this multi-setup for two of your companies to have information be stored in a single place, but still segregated, so each one is its own incarnation. So that's when you'd use something like that. Okay, but essentially, to make it simpler, is that if you use the multi approach, it will enable you to set things up so you have multiple companies or multiple series of SEO blueprints in a single spreadsheet. That's the easiest way to describe it. So I'm going to use the multi thing. I'm going to say I want to use the template, just like before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of the actual form to be, I'm just going to say, so this would be SEO for PCS and takeout online. It's my other business. Okay, so we'll call it that. So it's both of them. And then this thing here, because it's going to be for both companies, I'm just going to say SEO blueprint for PCS and TO, short for takeout online. And then that's basically all the customization I need to do here. So then I can go ahead and say view live form, and it comes up with the page here, and we can start filling it out. And I'm just going to put in a couple of yeses here, and I'm going to jump to next page, and I'm going to put the word PCS here, so we know this is PCS version. Okay, just so you can see that they're different. And at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and exit and save it. Okay, here's the key part, where if I go back to say edit my response, notice that there's a couple of things. There's another box here at the top that says you're editing your previous response. Be careful when sharing URL because it will allow others and so on. But it says use this link here below to share a blank version of the form. In English, what it means that information you're looking at now is the same one you were editing before, right? So if it's the same one, if you want to add additional companies, you would have to use this URL up here as the starting point to start a new entry, okay? So I'll show you what I mean. We're gonna flip through this thing here, and we're gonna see that I've entered a couple of these. Remember, I answered yes here, and I went over here. And so what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna actually bookmark this particular incarnation or an instance, it's probably a better word, of this tool. And this right now we're doing, as you can see in the box here on the second page, it says PCS. So I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna bookmark it by clicking at the star on the right side on the omnibar there. And I'm gonna call this particular one, I'm gonna call it SEO Blueprint for PCS, because it's only gonna be PCS. And I'm gonna stick it in the same SEO Help folder, okay? And basically, that's all I really want to do. I don't want to do anything. Don't want to do anything else. Okay. What I want to do though is I want to copy now this link to the blank version of this form, and I'm going to go ahead and open up a brand new. Let me just close this. I'm going to open up a brand new tab here, and I'm going to paste it. And it's going to give me a whole new instance entry into this thing, into the tool. And here what I'm going to do is, you notice right now, nothing is selected. Okay? If I go to page 2 by clicking on continue, notice that it doesn't say PCS here, because it's a different record now that we're storing. Okay? Because I said it's SEO Blueprint for PCS and Takeout Online. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to say no and no, just so it's different from the other one, so you can see. And I'm gonna put here Takeout Online, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and just simply, well, let's just not put anything else. Let's just go ahead and do exit. So click on exit, click continue, and then I'm gonna go ahead and submit this information, okay? Now, if I go back to edit the response, obviously it's gonna go and show me the information for Takeout Online. And see, it says no and no. So it's the same entry I had before, and you know the evidence will be on the next page where you can see it says Takeout Online. I'm going to bookmark this right now at this point, and I'm going to call this thing. So this is SEO Blueprint for Takeout Online, and I'm going to add it to the same folder. Okay, done. Okay, what I've done now is if I close this window, just leave this page. Make sure, by the way, that you always do the submit. You do the exit through the exit link, and then you click on submit to make sure all the changes get saved, so you don't miss anything. So if I go ahead now and close all my tabs and go back to my bookmarks, notice I have 3 different bookmarks. The original one was SEO Blueprint for PCS. Is the one I did using the single version of the template of the tool, so we don't need to worry about that. But the 2 new ones I put in are this one and this one right here. So this one says SEO Blueprint for PCS. This one says SEO Blueprint for TO, Takeout Online for sure. So if I click now to go to the PCS one, notice that it comes up. And just to double check, remember we had the first page. We had a couple of first yeses already selected, and there they are. And also we had the word PCS on the next page, and that's exactly what it shows, right? So if I close this and jump back to the bookmarks, and now if I select SEO Blueprint for TO, it's gonna go ahead and take me to the tool, this version of the tool. And of course, you know, right now, because it says for both of them, you really don't have any idea if you're in the right place or not. And because the URLs are so horribly encrypted, not encrypted, but cryptic looking, it's impossible to tell. So if I click on continue here, go here, notice that I got my nose, like I did for Takeout Online. And then also on the next page there, it should say Takeout Online. So this shows you that I got totally two different tool instances available to me. If I follow these simple steps to create the bookmarks, it makes it very, very simple to get to the right instance of the data. So you can jump to whatever record you want. I can easily add another one using the same approach. If I just bookmark, if I go to this URL here, start it up, and then put in some items in there, and then when I go to edit response, I bookmark it after that, then it's going to become a third incarnation. So you can have as many of these things as you want in the same spreadsheet in terms of where it keeps track of everything. So you don't need to worry about the spreadsheet. You just need to understand this basic functionality and concept of how you get going and how you use it for different instances if you need multiple instances. What I described in the beginning of the video, using a single instance, this is all you need. That way it makes it much simpler, and for most people having a single company, it's simple enough. For those who need multiple entries, they can either select multiple instances of the same thing by just downloading the template over and over and then renaming it and calling it the right name and then bookmarking that. Or if you actually want to store all of the different instances for different entities, companies, whatever they might be, in a single place, then you use the multi-approach and follow these steps. Basically, this is it. There's nothing more to this in terms of using it and installing it than I just showed you. The only last thing I'm going to say is that there is a community dedicated specifically to David's book called SEO Help. Right there, 20 semantic search steps that will help you grow your business grow, and that's the community specifically dedicated to members who have the book. Right now, we just started a couple of days ago. As you can see, we have only 41 members, but I'm sure it'll grow over time. And so in the community itself, you can see the categories are exactly identical to the actual steps in the book. So just like David has steps, we have the categories. Some are combined because Google has a limitation on how many categories you can have, and that's why we actually combined some where it made sense. But most of them are separate. And so the idea is if you're working currently on, for example, content, and you click on content, right now we don't have anything, but let's look at maybe identity. If you're looking on step called identity, well, here's a particular post from somebody dealing with identity issues. Maybe they're asking a question, maybe they're making a comment, whatever it might be. But the idea is, and also there is one called unfinished, which is the one that has a bunch of other stuff that's not specific to a particular step, but it's definitely relevant to the book and to SEO. So the idea here is you can go and as you're working through, let's say, number 3 Google Plus profile, you click on it, and then you'll see all of the different posts dealing with Google Plus profile situation. And you can create your own post, pose a question, read what other people have to say. The idea is to really get online help and collaborate and talk to people with similar step that they're currently working on or that worked before, so you can ask them questions or you can answer their questions and kind of engage in discussion what would be best to put in this particular case, dealing with content, dealing with engagement, whatever the items might be. And so it's definitely recommend that you join the community if you have the book. If you don't have the book, obviously get the book and then join the community. And so it's kind of a trifecta. You're using the book, number 1, you're using the companion tool, number 2, and you're using the community, number 3, if you'd like. If you have any questions, feel free to post to my profile or to David's, but best probably to just put it in this community. If either way, however you want to do it. And obviously we'll do our best to answer your questions. And with that, I thank you for your time. And until next time, take care.